हाँ मी मागे आहे ना ते मला काय आल्यानंतर काढू
बल्कि सर एक निकाल के
एक उधर बीच
बल्कि सर एक पैड निकाल के देख सकते
हाँ ये मागे ये मागे
हाँ लोग सर Thank you, sir.
Hello. I don't know how many of you remember that I used to be, none of you will remember because I don't see any bald and grey-haired men amongst you lot. But it was a time that I was reading the news. It was 40 years ago. And I was reading the news when it was read and not shouted as it is today. Following the act with those girls have performed before you is very, very difficult because they were really charming and they spoke from the heart and it was wonderful listening to them. But there are certain facts that I would like to share with all of you. 70% of Indian mothers consider menstruation dirty. Only 48% girls are aware of menstruation prior to puberty. Only 55% girls believe that periods are normal. 88% of menstruating women in India use homegrown alternatives such as old fabric, rags, sand, ash, wood shavings, newspapers, dried leaves, hay and plastic. And among those who used cloth, 60% changed it only once a day. Akshay Kumar, I'm sure you can hear me, I don't need a mic. Akshay Kumar and Balki have made this taboo subject so much in discussion with all of us and it's brought awareness to all of us. And I would like to start my first question to Balki as to what made him, inspired him to make a film like this.
The film actually started when Twinkle once met Mr. Arunachalam Muruganandam in some London conference. She came back and she told Akshay that we should make a movie on this. So Akshay called me and I met both of them. For me it was like, I've known about Arunachalam Muruganandam. For me, I was always very scared to make a film on anybody's life. Forget what he did, because I was scared that whether I'd be able to do justice to his life. But what really kind of amazed me was, of course, his story, which I knew about. More importantly, it's the first film, mainstream commercial cinema that could tackle a subject that nowhere in the world has been tackled in cinema. So that really kind of fascinated me because we began this journey 2 years ago. And okay, I told Akshay, let me think about it, let me write it, because, and this was the beginning of the journey. Twinkle then wrote a short story of his life. I was writing a script. So when we finished the thing, we had two versions, both were written simultaneously. We had two different adaptations of his life. It's a strange thing of one man's life having two different adaptations because both of us didn't know what we were writing. And this journey started, and really this happened when I first met Arunachalam Muruganandam. I was convinced I wanted to make a film on this man only after I met him, because the very first meeting, he told me something absolutely amazing. I went to his workshop in Coimbatore, and there he was, working with his machines. He was dirty, this full of grease and everything. He had his khaki pants, white shirt. He used to sign blank check books, okay, blank checks and leave it in the corner. And I looked at him and said, and all his suppliers used to come, fill whatever amount they want, they take it and go. Okay? Nobody would care. There's no accountant, no bills, no nothing. So I asked him, I just looked at him there. He said, why are you surprised? What will they take? There's no money in the bank. Whatever there is, that's all they can take. Why waste money on accountant? Billing, accountant, bill book, all this thing. This is all money I have. He's a man, besides doing something, besides caring for women, besides caring for women's health, this is the man who is a businessman who became famous by not making money. You know, in business, you see a lot of social workers, you see a lot of revolutionaries, of course changing, doing great things where money doesn't come into the picture. But here is an actual businessman who said his business model was all about not making money. Because if he made money, he wouldn't have a business. So try thinking of one man in the world who actually thinks of a business and to become famous in a business, not making money. That is amazing.
Some of you may be wondering who the other people sitting in front of you are, so may I please introduce them to you. Anuja Gulati, who is the state coordinator for UNFPA in Maharashtra, involved in promoting adolescent reproductive and sexual health. The short of the anagram is ARSH. And on my left is Dr. Rishma Pai, who has been the president of FOGSI, which is FOGSI, Federation of Obstetric and Gynecological Society of India. Balki needs no introduction. We all know him now as Chini Kam Pa and there something, but and Sharda's already mentioned Ki or Ka, and now Padman. But let me tell you that before that he still is, I think. Are you still the head of Low Lintas? Or have you retired from that? He was the head of one of the largest advertising companies, and his slogans, which everybody remembers, are things like Daag Acha Hai for Surf Excel, Jagore for Tata Tea, and Walk When You Talk, the little pug with the idea cellular. So Balki is a friend of everybody's now after having made Padman. And we have, of course, Dr. Sharda, you know, is the director of Population First. And we have Shoaib Ali, who is the director, marketing and brand acquisition, who has promoted movies like Mary Kom, Ram Leela, Welcome Back, and Gabbar, among others. I'm sorry, I don't know your name. Rupa Naik is from the World Trade Center, and it's courtesy her that we all happen to be here, I suppose. And she promotes, she's the project head, she's the director of Project Heads over here. I would like to ask what Arsh does exactly, and how have you been able to be successful in it?
What do you mean us?